Coming up. Au revoir, Shoshana! Inglourious Basterds is next. I got my boy CK with me. I got CTR with me. We're breaking down Inglourious Basterds, one of our favorite movies made in the last 20 years. We're going to hit the background of the movie, best scenes, hottest takes, and of course, what aged like a fine wine and what aged like a glass of warm French milk in a Nazi-occupied farmhouse. All right, boys, you guys requested this one. What are your thoughts?
Let me just speak for Kennedy. I heard him say this earlier. Top 10? Or was that just for Brad Pitt?
I say it's Brad Pitt's best performance.
Okay, wow, that's a lot. I may or may not disagree with that. We'll dive into that later. But for me, my initial thoughts, it's a staple.
Where were you in your life when this movie first came out?
I remember I was in my family room of my house, 370, which you lived at. I saw the trailer first and I thought, I don't really know. The thing that turned me off was Orlami's voice, Brad Pitt. It's just like, that's too far-fetched.
That's her name.
No, for me, I was like, I'm not watching that horse crap. And then eventually I watched it and I went, oh my God, that's amazing. So, for me, initial thoughts after watching it from the first time, now the 100th time, it's amazing. It's a Tarantino, so you're not going to be let down.
I have a vivid memory of where I was. It was my friend Ryan and his older brother. I never watched the trailer. It was just like, his older brother's like, we got to watch this movie. They just fucking kill Nazis, dude. This thing. Yeah, they were obsessed with war movies and shit.
Well, this is prime Nazi zombies.
If we were playing Nazi zombies all night the next day, because I would stay over their house all weekend. They're like, we gotta watch this. We're in 7th grade. He literally had Nazi helmets, Russian helmet. This guy, I'm not kidding, dude. He would wear like a Russian helmet to Subway and shit.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
So we watched it. Thought it was awesome. I didn't pick up on any of the kind of deeper stuff. I was too young. So when I rewatched it this time, you appreciate it a little bit more. But
no doubt about it. So this movie, I'm always into the World War II stuff, and it's just, there's something about it that's very timeless. It's just a massive story in the history of the world. This is obviously not, it's not real, but it's his take on it and an alternate history. And pretty much anything Tarantino I'm gonna watch, but it's impressive just to see what he put together. And you can sit there for 2.5 hours and be fucking entertained from start to finish. And it's not just the violence or any of that stuff. It's like a verbal warfare going on too, and a lot of tension building throughout the entire time, because obviously we know what happens in real life, but just to see these stories and the way he puts them together, it's just impressive, man. So let's do some quick facts on the movie real quick before we get started. So we got came out in 2009. Produced by Lawrence Bender, directed by our boy Quentin Tarantino. Main cast: Brad Pitt, Christoph Waltz. We got Melanie Laurent, Diane Kruger, Eli Roth, Michael Fassbender, Daniel Bruhl. Budget for this, $70 million, grossed $321 million worldwide. Gentlemen, we have a hit. You goddamn right we did. You go to Rotten Tomatoes. What's the reception? 89% critic score, 88% audience score. That's a fucking banger. Okay. Then, we get in the time machine. We'll see what the competition was that year. And it was a fucking big year. So we had Avatar come out, Hurt Locker, District 9, Up, Star Trek. So it's competing with a ton. And it won a bunch of awards. It had 8 Oscar nominations, snubbed for Best Picture. I don't know if there was Tarantino fatigue or whatever, but he had been working on this project for years before, at least 10 years before he actually came together with it. They stopped at a couple points to try and do Kill Bills and some other, indie stuff, but came back to it because he just couldn't figure out the ending on it. And just to see what he came up with and the fucking tension building throughout the entire movie, it's just awesome, man. So kudos to them. They opened this in the Cannes Film Festival for like they opened it up. They had to rush to get it in there because Weinstein wanted it in there too soon, probably. But but they had a 10-minute standing ovation at the end of this movie, and then he went back and edited it a little bit more before it came out in theaters. But just incredible. So we got Christoph Waltz does win Best Supporting Actor in the film, but why did this movie hit differently?
Because every single person, especially males our age that haven't been to war, I'd say, born in 80s plus, since the 80s, because you're too young to be in the Gulf War. You're born in the 80s anyways. It's a what if fantasy. What would I do? That's why every guy our age loves watching old documentaries, stuff like this. But it's what would I do? And you don't really know. You've read books and you've seen things about the Nazis, but this is a great depiction. Even that Hitler looks realistic. The Nazi soldiers look realistic. Hans Lander. It lets you live that fantasy of what would I do? And if you're Jewish, times that by 10.
Yeah. You don't have a Jewish perspective here, but the actor of the Bear Jew, I forget his name. You remember his name?
Eli Roth.
Yeah. He said that Tarantino had been waiting for this, like dreaming about it. And of course he gets the most violent.
No doubt about it. And it's kind of two stories blended together. And there's only, I don't even know how many scenes are in this movie, but it's not a lot. It's just very extended scenes and a lot of dialogue. And I think the way that he does it by making 70% of the movie not in English, it forces you to kind of lock in and pay attention to the subtitles, and you get to feel it more than you would if everything was in English, because you can kind of drift in and out if it's not. But having it mostly in subtitles, French, German, Italian, whatever, it's just pretty fucking smart for him to do that.
It's some tricky stuff with the language too, where they'll show you subtitles and then there's scenes where they don't show subtitles, so that you're in the position of like some of the Jews under the floorboards, where they don't know what they're saying. So they don't show you the German at one point. They only show you the French.
Yeah.
To add to that, in a different sense of why this movie hits so hard, you have Saving Private Ryan, Band of Brothers, Call of Duty, Act of Valor, times a million video games that all are pointing at this exact thing of let's go kill some damn Nazis. That's why this movie's awesome, because it's great actors and arguably the best director, one of the best ever. So it's a no-brainer. Need to watch.
No doubt. He's the artistic director of our time, and he takes bits and pieces from everybody that he idolizes, and that's pretty well known. But just the way that he pieced it together, you can put yourself in every scene, and I think that's the part that is most entertaining about it, is that you can put yourself in each role and feel what these people are feeling. And that's a tribute to the actors. The actors that were picked for this are just, they play their parts perfectly. So a little bit more limited research before we dive into some of the best scenes and stuff like that really get us going. The name of the movie was an homage to an Italian movie by the same name, but he purposely misspells it at the end, and he gets the okay from that director as long as that director for this other movie can get a cameo in it. And so he does that. The director for the original Inglourious Basterds is a different story, but he liked the name of it. But he gets a short cameo in this. So we get actors in this that are, some of them are big names, some of them are not well known at this time. A lot of foreign actors. Brad Pitt before this, everybody knows Brad Pitt, but he's in Fight Club, Ocean's 11, Troy, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and then he follows that into this. And this is one of a couple of war movies that he's done since then. we get Christoph Waltz, who comes out swinging out of the gates. Nobody knows who this guy is. And that first 20 minutes introduces you to one of the best actors in the world. And he's mostly unknown, never did anything in the US, worked as mostly European cinema, TV shows, and some movies out there. But there was a lot of casting what ifs for this that we'll get into. Melanie Laurent, aka Shoshana. She is a French actress with some acclaimed work, but I think she really makes a name for herself in this. And everybody knows Michael Fassbender at this point, but this is really his breakout role. Before this, he did 300 and a couple other movies. This puts people on a pedestal, especially Christoph Waltz. I mean, I don't know if he wins the movie or not. We'll get into that later, but he certainly is doing a lot of work for Big Dairy. He's got a lot of milk and he is obsessed with cream and dairy and just, anyways, the guy is playing this part perfectly.
You guys have any thoughts on that?
What?
Like, why is he obsessed with milk?
I don't know, man.
Is it sexual?
Listen, we're a sex positive podcast here. I don't know if he's into it or not. This is the thing. He doesn't have, like most of these Nazis, except for our German sniper guy, they don't really show love in any way or show like attraction or any kind of emotion. Well, that's what I mean. The German sniper guy, Frederick. He's the only one that shows any kind of like, I don't know, any kind of like
drunk.
Well, yeah, he's a creep, bro.
My perspective on that, as I've gotten older and watched that, like growing up, I watched it from his perspective, pursuing this hot girl.
Mm-hmm.
But when she is way more important to this movie than I realized.
Yeah.
And when you watch it from her perspective, try to think like you're a woman in that position. He doesn't take the fucking hint.
No.
She turns him down a million times. And by the way, she's got a man.
And he don't care.
Love with. They can't fathom the idea that she's even with that guy. So
No.
He puts his blinders on, and he's just a fucking freak.
Dude, he reminds me of the guy that would hunt after girls that are super drunk at the bar. Late night, last call, total creep show, never gets any. He thinks he's somebody because he's got a baseball player, lacrosse player, and he's got this
easy on lacrosse, bro.
Phil. And how dare you deny me?
He also acts like he doesn't care about his fame from killing 300 people. He's like, they tried to.
It was a Tuesday. You basically have two storylines going at the same time. You've got Shoshana seeking vengeance for them killing her whole family. And then you have these Jewish American hand-picked psychos that are there to just go out and get retribution.
I mean, if you knew what was happening and like that was your mom, your dad, your brother down here, I mean,
hey, dude, they're killing every normal white guy possible over and blah, blah, blah. I'd be like, okay, I'm going.
And we're in. Yeah, it's...
Exactly.
So let's get into, we're going to get into some of the best scenes and all that stuff. But before we do that, let's do some alternate casting. So let's talk about casting what ifs for this, because there's some interesting ones.
I have a good one.
Shoot.
Hans Landa. It's actually Landa, not Lander. It should have been, it was supposed to be, but he denied it. Leo.
Yeah.
Yep. For Hans,
he would have been good.
He can do anything, but
he can do anything.
He doesn't speak 5 languages.
No.
He probably would have been like, oh.
So that's the kicker, is that Tarantino ultimately wanted somebody that was German speaking, and it just so happened that Christoph Waltz could also speak like 4 other fucking languages. So I don't even know how he found this guy, but
what's cool about it is
couldn't have been better casting.
Jesus.
He he said to like one of his producers, if we can't find Hans, I don't think we should do the movie. If we can't find a better actor.
He's the main character.
Like, because not
Basically.
trying to get somebody that doesn't do all the language and stuff. And the same day is when Christoph Waltz called or whatever and auditioned. And he was like really formal. He was like, thank you, Mr. Tarantino. And Tarantino was like, you gave me my movie. So thank you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Smart, man. Great pull. So then we have Aldo Rain. You want to take any guesses at who was up for this one?
Who can speak like that?
Billy Bob Thornton.
Well, no.
Hold on. We're still doing guesses.
It was Al Pacino. No, I'm kidding.
I can't, dude. Whenever I see a German here, she's got a great ass.
That German's got a great ass.
That Hitler.
That Hitler.
Who's gonna play him?
De Niro.
De Niro.
Maybe. So Sly Stallone was on the list.
No, that was a rumor.
That was a rumor.
That he never had on list.
Then Adam Sandler
No.
was on. Now, I think Adam Sandler was up for Donnie the Bear Jew Donowitz. So, yeah, Sandler was offered the role of Donnie and ends up turning it down because it conflicts with funny people. Oh, you know what? Never thought of that. You think he comes out with a hockey stick instead of a baseball bat?
Yeah.
That would be interesting. So Sandler can actually play like more serious roles, but I just don't know that I would take it that seriously if he's in that role. This guy plays it pretty well.
Or Rob Riggle.
And Teddy Williams exit out of the park.
Oh, the scene I was telling you about that I thought was hilarious was when he's like, Donnie, yeah. Got somebody out here who wants to die for his country. Oblige.
Oblige.
But just like, yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's a great one. Do any of these roles work better or differently in a positive way for the movie if you change any of the roles? I think DiCaprio can kind of blend in. I can't see him as Londa, though, after having Waltz do what he did.
I would say it's near perfect casting. Doesn't need any changes. We were jokingly saying, what's his name?
Walken.
Christopher Walken. Londa.
I can smell the Jews in here.
He just doesn't have those.
The Jew.
So certain way.
I can smell him.
I am John.
There's God, dude. I don't think that there's any casting that could have changed this for the better. Now, of course, with all these things, there's always other projects that these actors are looking at the same time. So timing's a lot of this, but clearly you two have some choices here. So go on.
Well, I was just going to say the one that is a little bit out of place is the guy from The Office.
Oh, yeah.
The little man.
The little man.
I think he's not he's great, but no, if he didn't have The Office, he would be perfect. But I just see him and I'm like,
that's Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan. No, exactly. Yeah.
All right, I got a Hans Lander sub. Kevin Spacey.
Oh my God.
Wow. Yeah.
Spacey is, I don't know if he could pull off German, but he can pull off a fucking hunting, nasty asshole.
So if we're talking about Hans recasting, like nobody speaks 5 languages. That's American. That's an actor. So let's just say, like, if you didn't have to do the languages, it would be good as Landa or I fucked up.
Hans Lander.
Hans Landa?
I do think Spacey could pull it off if he didn't have to do
But
Yeah, that's true. But I think the languages are what makes this as compelling as it is, because it's more believable.
a film, they call that the suspense of belief.
Where did you go to film school?
Towson University. Took one class.
Suspend.
Oblige him.
Why is that?
Disbelief. That's right. Because when you do a foreign language, it makes the audience go, "Oh no, this could actually be real," because it's not something they can really connect to.
I thought this meant, so you're in a world, let's say The Matrix, for example, because I can't think more for this movie. And you're like, well, why the fuck would they use human beings with batteries? And you go, well, suspend your disbelief so that you can just operate in this reality and enjoy the movie.
But that's what the language is doing. So, for example,
but it's realistic.
Apocalypto, it's suspense of disbelief by having no English the entire movie. It's all subtitles.
And you don't have to suspend your disbelief because it's already too realistic.
Yeah.
But it makes it more realistic.
Wouldn't you'd be like, well, because it's all subtitles and it's them speaking their native tongue, you suspend your, basically what it means is you suspend all of your doubt. You really do.
Yeah.
When it's in a foreign language.
Yeah.
It could be true.
Could be.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, let's get into best scenes. All right. Well, you could just list out the whole movie, to be honest with you. But the opening scene sets the tone right off the bat. So it's arguably one of the most suspenseful scenes that Tarantino's ever done. I think the way that Waltz plays it is so, oh God, he's just so good at this, coming off as like a jolly, nice guy, and he knows the entire time. So he's a hunter that's just playing with his food and his prey. And as it goes on, he just wears this guy down with his niceness. And then slowly he starts to turn and you see the monster that he really is.
Shot of his face where he gets serious.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
So scared.
the devil never shows up as your enemy.
Ooh. Yeah.
And
Perfect.
Yeah.
He shows up as your friend.
he showed up and starts off, like I said, real nice, and then starts transitioning as he goes down. It's like watching Tom Brady surgically pick apart a defense, not by bombs down the field. It's just, here's a swing pass, here's a short little quick slant here, and you can see him marching down the field, and all of a sudden you're like, fuck, you know he's going to get what he wants. It's just, now I got to see how it happens. Lulls you to sleep. Now we're getting somewhere. So he does that. And I think it's just, you can see the Jews that are hiding know exactly what's going on. You can see them when the camera pans down into them, and you can see their eyeballs, and they know that they switched the languages, and you think that they're thinking, oh shit, we don't understand what's going on. They know exactly what's going on. They know, oh fuck.
Shoshana, because she got the fuck out of Dodge.
Hell yeah. They knew. And you know, as the audience, it's about to go down. And you're just waiting to see how. And then when you see the face turn, and then you hear what does he do? Like a little flip, or just tell them, oh, go ahead.
Madames, mademoiselles, come in.
He says, and then he says, goodbye, I think, in French.
Mm-hmm.
He sort of wiped it French.
Au revoir.
No. And he 40s through the floorboards. Shoshana's the only one that makes it.
I don't want to skip over this, but, and I won't, obviously. The guy who owns the house, or the whatever,
Jude Law.
you connect with him as an American because you could be somebody that's housing Jews in your house trying to save them.
And you could also have 3 daughters that you're like, if it comes down to it, That's
So,
why he's crying. He's like, do I let my neighbors die?
and you're watching his every move because you see how he's trying to hold back his nerves. Can I smoke my pipe? Just that simple question of can I shows now he is super submissive. What are you trying to hide? He's giving Landa all of these cues. I'm hiding something. I need to cover up my guilt or my nervousness with something. And you just feel for him. It's such a connecting moment in the movie.
He does a decent job of hiding it.
He does a very
But
good job. It's believable.
Yeah.
But it's like, even if you do the best job, you're going to get caught.
Yeah, but he's dealing with the devil right there. And it's funny because later on in the movie, you see Landa switch sides, try to do what's best for him, and he just claims, I have honor. He tries to come off like he's a good person, and obviously he's fucking not. So just his manipulating nature, it's like having this beautiful creature that is also the whole time just enticing you and bringing you in just so that they can fucking kill you.
Some proof of his pure evil. Everything he does, you could argue. I mean, it's obviously all evil, but like he's doing his job,
Mm-hmm.
When he kills Fran von Hammerschmidt,
Bridget von Hammerschmidt.
Bridget, yeah, he didn't have to choke her out because he lets Aldo and the little man live. But he's like, I'm just gonna fucking kill it because I want to.
You know why? This is my thought. She lied to him, whereas Aldo did not lie at all. I think he's pissed with, you think you're smarter than me. Like when he laughed,
Oh, yeah.
super, and she goes, oh, I was mountain climbing, and he's like, ah! He hates being lied to. He doesn't want you to.
He said that's your excuse.
Mm-hmm. He doesn't want you to be smarter than him.
Well, he thinks, and he's got proof that he's the best at what he does. And so when he sees Aldo later on, he makes a comment like, did you not think I knew who you were? And it's because he recognizes the other alpha in the room.
Exactly.
And he knows I've met my match, at least in this life. And so it's very interesting. Any other thoughts on that scene before we go to the next one? What other scenes?
From the intro.
You can go
all best scenes.
Oh, brother.
Let's move on from the intro because it's so long.
The intro sets the tone. It's like a 20-minute scene. Yeah. I think you're right.
I have a favorite scene.
Go on.
It's kind of skipping a few. So, my favorite scene is it's right after you're watching a bunch of Nazi shit and you're starting to just fucking hate the Nazis.
Mm-hmm.
And then they cut to Fassbender. I forget his name too in the movie. Yeah. Weird. It's Archie.
It's like Archie Hickox or something.
It's him and Mike Myers randomly.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was so cool.
It was.
Winston Churchill just sitting in the corner, and it's the most British conversation you could ever hear. I'm not even going to try to do an impression of it. But like, he makes himself a drink in the Globe, and you're just like, dude, I love these guys. It just makes you like, oh, fucking allies, bro. Let's go. Yeah, and then I love how they're kind of trying to sit there. We find out if he's the right guy for the job.
So that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And he's like, "What is your take on the jump film?" And then he's like, breaks it down perfectly, and Winston's like, as soon as he gets, because he knows this is our fucking guy.
Yep.
He asked him what he thought about something 9, a certain movie, and then he goes, actually, his directing is more so along Gil's or some other guy, and he goes, brief him.
Yeah.
Yo, do you know why? So he's a film critic in the movie.
Yeah.
And then and that kind of reminds you, like, so everything is set from 41 to 44, 45. Back then, everybody gets drafted. So they're all doing other jobs before they come into this. And he's a fucking film critic that is forced into, now you got to be a spy and help us out. And he's fucking good at it until he's not.
It's the exact theme. This premise is pulled out of the American hat about 30, no, not 30, let's say 50, 60 years later. The movie 13 Hours, what do they go in as? A film crew.
Oh, isn't that Argo too?
Mm-hmm. It's the guy from The Office. It's a common theme. They always let press in. It's a very good way to perform espionage.
Actually, in the game Wolfenstein, which is, do you guys know what that is?
Mm-mm.
So, well, Wolfenstein was like the OG first-person shooter.
Okay.
Killing Nazis. It's a classic video game. But they made like a remake. It was like 2D. They made like a really cool game recently. And it's an alternate reality where the Nazis won World War II. So like in America, it's occupied by Nazis. But you play as this guy, Blazkowicz, Jacob Blazkowicz, I think his name is. And you just kill Nazis. But the way he infiltrates and gets close to Hitler is he tries out as an actor for a propaganda film. Has to do his audition in front of it.
Interesting.
That reminds me of the show The Americans, which was great.
It's a great show, man.
You know?
Great show. FX.
FX, and that's where the same exact thing, the Nazis won the war.
Oh, no, you're talking about Man on the High Castle.
That's it.
Yes.
That actor is amazing.
That's a solid show, man. I know. He could have been. He very well could have been in this because he plays that one of the members of the Reich, and he's high up there and has to hide his own family at one point. Yeah, that's interesting. Good tangent, but let's get back to Fassbender because I also have him in my tavern shootout scene as one of the best scenes. The scene is similar to the first opening scene where it's a lot of dialogue and tension building up the whole time because they're in there drinking. They're having some kind of meeting.
Rendezvous with.
Yeah.
Rich.
Exactly. And you don't go into the fucking basement pub. You just don't do that. There's not like any outs for you. And so you either got to be perfect or what happens is going to fucking happen. And so he's the whole time playing it cool, playing it smart. And then he doesn't. He throws up the 3 fingers. And of course the German guy's like, that is not how we do it.
His accent's not perfect.
And his accent's a little bit off. He can speak fluent German, but his accent's just off enough to where the guy starts getting suspicious. And then he starts asking questions, pretty Landa-esque. And then it turns into he notices one little thing, the 3 instead of the 3. And it just fucks it up. Fucks up the whole thing. And you get that whole shootout. You kind of build up a little bit of empathy for the guy with the kid who just got born and all that stuff. But when it comes time to it, you're like, wait a minute. I do feel a little bit because these guys are also humans too, but he's just fighting on the wrong side.
Exactly.
Sorry, pal. You got to go.
But so they say before the meeting, you're like, if we do blow our cover, no one, French or German, can come out of that basement. So when they're doing the whole, you give us our man, we'll let you out.
Yep.
It's bullshit. They're going to kill him.
They're going to kill him. Exactly.
The thing that it's a repetitive sequence that Tarantino does. We saw it in chapter 1 with the milk farmer where he's being interrogated and he's trying not to blow his cover. And it's the same exact thing with Fassbender. And you see it with Emmanuel Moumou, same exact thing with Gorlami and them. The entire movie is such a thriller suspense because every single role, no matter who you are, you're trying to hold your role together. And everyone's a spy. Even if you're not a spy with the government, you're a freaking spy.
100%.
Why the audience is on their toes.
When I love that everything is pieced together too at the end. So you have this shootout, everybody's dead except for Bridget, and God, who else makes it out of there? There's one other guy I think that's close to making it out, and then they shoot him. But she leaves behind the fucking napkin in the shoe, and who the hell do you think finds it?
He kisses it.
Unbelievable. Fucking Hans, dude. Super creepy. He plays creepy so well.
It's just like, oh, I hate this guy.
I hate this guy, but goddamn, he's so good at what he does. He makes you hate him so much and fear him.
If you watch when he's interviewing Shoshana or Emmanuel, he's sitting in his chair with the most perfect posture, and he does this, holds up his little medals, and then he interviews her. And it's just, does this guy like ever take a break, or is he always perfect?
Well, dude, he's always trying to be perfect. And that kind of reminds me of the scene where it's been 3 or 4 years since Shoshana escaped. And then she gets coaxed into this lunch or brunch with the German sniper dude. Yes, God, the creep who just will not let it go. And who walks in? Fucking Hans. And at this point, he's no longer the Jew hunter. He has been elevated into his role. So he's in a higher position, but the whole time she's wondering.
This is my fancy.
Well, does he
does know that because he gives.
Do you think so?
Orders milk for her.
He orders milk.
Wow.
He orders milk for her. So he has, and then at the end, if you catch it, before they end their little date, he says, one more thing I wanted to ask you. It's just, it went right over my head. I'll think about it later. We'll get back to it. He knows, but he knows also if it's at her theater, then it can end the war.
And he wants the war to end.
He wants it to end. So he knows it's her.
You think he knows at that point that he's going to do that plan?
I think he does because he's so calculated. All of his buttons are in the right place. Could be.
That's a good pull. I didn't even think of that.
Dude, and my favorite part in the entire movie, I say with my dad all the time, we're just joking around and just making like, I don't know, whatever, this comes relevant, but tende la creme, tende la creme. We say wait for the cream, but that's what he's saying, tende la creme.
Mother creams. Her little crying thing right when he walks away. She's put together.
Why?
100%.
Another thing where she knows, he knows. She'll have a milk.
Also, the guy that murdered your family and is a sociopathic, psychopathic serial killer. It's just probably scary.
In fairness, though, she never saw his face.
She's not aware enough to know. Well, I want you to.
Oh, yeah, she knows his voice.
Do you know who I am?
And everybody knows the Jew killer. And
she knows who he is, but when she saw him in her person and heard his voice, it's kind of like Love is Blind, where now you see the guy. They've been talking over the pods. Oh my God.
Did you guys know this nightmare? Samuel L. Jackson.
Yes. Yes. Samuel L. was in this movie.
Where?
He's a voice. He's a voice. A voiceover. And another.
Yeah, what he's saying.
Welcome to our theater, motherfuckers.
No. But he's in.
He just narrates like 2 scenes.
Yeah. Really?
And also another one, Harvey Keitel. Randomly, he's like with the general, the American general.
No way.
Yeah.
Damn.
Remind me of Harvey Keitel.
He's the wolf from Pulp Fiction. Shorter guy. He's also Tarantino loves it, I guess.
Yeah, Samuel's in this, dude.
That's interesting. Didn't know that. Now we got, go ahead and tell me more.
I have one little trivia or fact about Shoshana's character. Originally, Tarantino, because he wrote this like, he said it could have been a series. He had to cut it down.
Yes.
Too long. But originally, the Shoshana character, after her family got murdered, she was going to be sniping Nazis, stabbing people. She was like badass.
Damn.
And then he made Kill Bill. and all the cool things he was going to give to Shoshana, he put in Kill Bill for Uma Thurman. He's like, not willing to do it, but he said it worked out better because she was a little bit more realistic.
Yeah.
And
Speaking of which, she would have been great in that role.
as Kill Bill,
Or as Shoshana.
Oh, Uma.
Thurman, Uma Thurmas. Yeah, she's awesome.
She is awesome. You know, I could see her in that role. I almost feel like she's too pretty for that role.
She's very German.
She is. Well, yeah. Maybe she could have been Bridget on Hammerschlag.
I like that.
But I like Diana Kruger too.
Yeah.
Next scene that I have on my list is Shoshana's revenge. Love it. So her plan, it's kind of weird because the two plans kind of collide towards the end, and they never know. And you have her plan, basically get them all in there, lock the doors, set the whole place on fire, change out the film towards the end so they know exactly who's ending their life. And you have, on top of that, when you think things are going to go well, you get fucking Gorlami coming in there. And their plan is to basically blow the place up once they find out that it's going to be there. But on top of those two big things, you have all these subplots going on. And that's where you get Hans talking to Hammerschmark and taking her upstairs, killing her, strangling her, which, by the way, I had read that is Tarantino that is strangling her with his own hands to make it look real. Yeah.
He strangles her because he doesn't want everyone downstairs to find out what's going on. If he shot her, the reason there were shots later is because the film was doing shots.
Right.
He can't just shoot her. Everyone would go, what the hell's going on?
What's going on?
He had to strangle her.
Smart. I mean, not to, you know what I mean.
Smart.
I loved the recognition between Aldo and the Jew hunter. They know exactly who each other are right away. And Aldo's the only one in the entire movie that doesn't switch character. And I love that in the scene leading up to it, they're needing people to, well, who can speak Italian? He's like, I can do a little bit.
I speak most Italian, so I'll be your escort.
And all he says, buongiorno.
And then he does, however, grazie. Colin, what was your favorite part?
From what?
When he says Gorlami.
Oh, yeah. He's like, can you say your name again? He does it in Italian. He's like, Gorlami. He says it twice, Gorlami. And then he gets real quiet and he's like, Gorlami. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm fed up.
I'm fed up with your shit.
He's an alpha.
You notice when he gets caught, he's like, fuck you. Like he just starts.
Yeah.
Drops a couple up.
That's when Landon knew, oh, this guy's not giving it.
No.
Fucked.
Not giving in at all. But that, I mean, obviously it didn't happen in real life, but can you imagine if that was the way that it all ended for Hitler and his crew? So you get Landa, he wants the thing to end. So he's kind of on board with this plan. That's why he lets the other guys go. And those guys get in and absolutely rain fire on these people. Literally Shoshana's boy and
Marcel.
Yeah. And then you get, who is it? Donnie and
I know everybody by their
Dakoko.
Dakoko.
Dominic Dakoko's not little.
Dakoko and Donnie, who's Marguerite.
Yeah. They go in there,
punch people to death with her
No, just Antonio Margaretti is the punch gun, and he goes, you need to get here within 3 seconds. Can you do that? And then he punch guns, and then the other guy comes in, Dominic Dacoco, and stabs him.
No, he punch guns in the back. Oh, and then I think you might stop.
Okay.
But they both got the punch guns.
It was close, though. They almost
missed it. Yeah.
They unload into Hitler in a way that it is fucking comical. They shoot him, honest to God, at least. I mean, it is just like a Tommy gun to the face. That's a bingo.
Ooh.
And it is so funny. And they do the same thing to Goebbels, who's right there. It's just, that's good. That's good cinema, dude.
The fact that Goebbels' title is director of propaganda, it's like,
Hold on, I didn't even try it on.
you're literally saying that you're spewing out propaganda. That's just weird. Director of racism. It's like,
Yeah.
Exactly.
like marketing or something.
Director of marketing.
Like, dude, don't say your actual boy.
It's so dumb. Well, listen, man. They had
But that is how the Nazis did title themselves.
fucking dumb.
Propaganda.
What do you got for any other best scenes? Scenes that stuck with you? Go ahead. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Very disturbing when he starts beating him with that bat. And also, this is another thing Tarantino said. You almost can't help but, in a way, respect a little bit the Nazi that
Is willing to die.
Oh, yeah.
he's like, would you get that battle for killing Jews? Right. Like, he's brave as fuck.
Wow, you actually do your link to balls on this.
But then when you see after the first hit, you can tell he's like,
Oh, fuck, what?
Oh, fuck that. I did not mean that.
arms like,
You see him convulse.
Yeah.
oh,
Oh, this guy.
It's brave.
Give me. I'll take that. Thank you.
That's a bingo.
That's a bingo. That's all it would take for somebody. If I see somebody next to me that's on my team getting their head bashed in with a bat, I'd be like, whoa, hang on. What do we need?
Yes.
Nah.
Dude, I was just talking to Colin about this. Hey, where is your team of guys that are fully equipped, fully loaded on ammo, ready to die, know that people are looking for them? Where are they? Or we'll cut your balls off. They're right here.
They are here.
If you come there, they're gonna expect it. I'm not getting my nuts chopped off, dude. Like,
Not
dude,
dope.
you don't even have to torture me. The only way that torture would work, and it's nothing against brothers or anything. They know war's coming. They're in the enemy territory. They're behind enemy lines. The only way I start speaking is if it's like some cartel leader and he has eyes on my wife and kids. That's it. Because then I know they're not ready and equipped.
No.
If it's my band of brothers that are ready and equipped, they're right here, brother.
They
To go home, see ya.
But that's the thing, though. They're not. They know they're gonna die either way.
well, the one guy gets to go.
Yeah.
Just gets the,
He gets the swastika carved in it, which I think is just. It's a bit of artistry.
It's awesome.
It's a great way for people to remember when this is over, because I think the Allies, at least in this movie at this point, have a good idea. We're gonna fight, and I think Hitler knows it too, because you see him in one of the scenes say, "Well, the Americans."
Now, if you read the history books,
The Americans are on the beach, meaning we are fucked at this point, because now
really low on men, they're spread thin. Their problem was when they lost the war, is he had them on the east side of the country, mostly towards Russia. When everyone was coming over here, he sends a bunch of guys over. But by the time that happened, they ran out of food to feed the guys that were traveling. They had it so spread thin. Oh, fuck. This isn't going to work.
yeah, and you can't have that many super soldiers on meth. At some point, they need to eat. Yeah, meth is not going to do it forever. Oh God, Goebbels, send them more meth.
I got an interesting question for you guys.
Go.
Did you notice the scar on Aldo's neck?
Yes. Yep.
What do you think that was?
I actually read about that in Wikipedia. Rain is a coal miner and a bootlegger from the Great Smoky Mountains of Tennessee, where he fought against the Ku Klux Klan. He survived a lynching and is a descendant of Jim Bridger and the Bridger family. He was a member of the Devil's Brigade, where he was trained in guerrilla warfare.
So it was in there.
This entire plot line I read was based off of the Greena operation. Very different, but essentially it was an outfit put together by a guy that I think you're mentioning that plays Aldo's role. Cham Miller or something, I forget his name, but he's the American guy. They put together a team and they go and basically try to do this same exact thing to get into, if I'm remembering correctly, I have it printed out here, a bunker to try to kill somebody important. I think it was Hitler, but I'll read it here. I got it. Okay, it was Operation Greena. It was Jewish American refugees Fred Mayer, Hans Wingenberg, and German deserter Franz Weber were parachuted into Austria. The mission was to spy on the Brenner Pass. I guess that's a mountain range, and investigate the Nazi stronghold of Tyrol and the Austrian Alps. So yeah, that range. The mission was one of the most successful and daring covert operations of World War II. So it's very different. They get parachuted in. It's only 3 or 4 guys.
Yeah.
That's where Tarantino gets the idea.
Damn. Any other best scenes before we take a quick break? Take a quick break. We'll be right back. All right, boys, we're back. Time to get into best lines from the movie. That's a bingo. Colin, I know you got some. Oh, yeah. What do you have down?
Well, this one is a little bit more analytical, not so funny, but in that first scene, when he goes, the rumors I heard are all true. And he's looking at one of the daughters, and she's like, oh, fuck. And then he's like, you do have a beautiful family. Something like that.
Yeah.
If I come back, I gotta pull up my notes here. That's of the rat.
That is an amazing quote. I don't have it word for word, but when he compares the hawk to the rat, what he's in chapter 1.
Is that in French too?
Or mouse?
Or no, I think it was what's in English. Yeah,
he switches to English. But doing that comparison is like chilling as the audience.
Yeah, what does he say? If you compare the German soldier to that of a beast, say the hawk, and you compare the Jew to the beast of that of a rat.
And then he's like, the hawk does not stink like a rat. They check in the attic, they check the window, they check the front door. But unlike the German soldier, I'm different because I check the places a rat would go. I think differently. I think like the rat.
It's so creepy and scary.
They're in the crawl space.
Yeah.
Ratting it up.
He fucking knows.
At the same time.
He knows before he even gets in there. He's like, they're not going to be hiding in a fucking closet.
It's fucked up that they're like, yeah, dude, they act like rats.
Yeah, dude.
But you got somebody, they're going to hide over the floor.
I don't mean they ratted. I know, like, goddamn rats. But I mean, like, dude, they're in the crawl space, which is Rat City, because I worked in crawl spaces for 10 years of my life. Where else do rats hang? They hang from the floor down.
No, what's weird?
Little.
Come in the house. Mice do. Why don't rats come in the house?
Because the rats are the leader that sets them.
Well, the rats. It means not a house.
I could go with, I like the whole introduction to Aldo. Gets me every time.
What does he say? We will be cruel to the Germans. And the Germans will talk about us. And the German will be sickened by us. And the German will fear us. Love it. So cool.
So Donnie's screaming.
He's doing the whole Boston.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's great.
Another, I guess, quote that I like is back to the bar scene. And actually, this reminds me of a non-quote. He didn't say a thing, but Stiglitz just staring the entire time.
Didn't even try. Stiglitz doesn't try.
Everybody be cool. Everybody be cool. He's about to come in the room. Just play it cool. He stares him with death in his eyes and has flashbacks of knives and being whipped, being shown on the screen, and then looking back at the guy with the death stare.
Say a-boomin and Nazi balls.
Mhm. That's a good one.
Well, I speak the most Italian, so I'll be your escort. Donowitz speaks the second most, so he'll be your Italian cameraman. Omar speaks the third most, so he'll be Donnie's assistant. I don't speak Italian. Like I said, third best. Just keep your fucking mouth shut.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Okay, anything that Fassbender says when he goes British, I can't do it justice with an impersonation because it's so British. You can't. Unless you're English, you can't do it. But although Mike Myers pulled it off pretty well, Mike Myers' British accent was pretty good. But Fassbender just like, I hope you don't mind. Well, since this could be it, I hope you don't mind if I go out speaking.
Yeah.
Oh,
This is such wrong in hell.
dude,
I love that.
it's amazing. I also love.
Did you hear that? The sound of my Walther pointed at your testicles. Why do you have a Walther pointed at my testicles? Because you've just given yourself away, Captain. You're no more German than that Scotch. Well, Major.
Shut up, slut.
That part was amazing. Shut up, slut. My favorite, dude, this part made me laugh. All right, well, look, we said we put our guns down. We're not going to have a Mexican standoff. He's like, it's not a Mexican standoff. You don't have a gun. And he's like, well, we got grenades upstairs, so sure as hell it is a Mexican standoff. You give her up free, and we'll let this thing go, okay? The fact that he brought up this ain't a Mexican standoff. This is the part that made me laugh. There's no way in hell that German guy was like, Mexican standoff. I know exactly.
No, not a chance.
No chance we're having a Mexican standoff. It's like,
is a Mexican.
like, I don't know what Mexicans are. It's like saying, like, this is a Bavarian standoff. Like, what?
The Mexican makes it up. It's a Mexican.
God.
Is that?
CK, you said it earlier. That cracks me up. Hey, Donnie?
Donnie. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Sergeant Donnie Donowitz. You know him better by his nickname, the Bear Jew. Now, if you've heard of Aldo the Apache, you've got to have heard of the Bear Jew.
I have heard of the Bear Jew.
What'd you hear?
He beats German soldiers with a club.
It beats the fucking brains out of baseball bats. Dude, Aldo,
Dude, he steals the scenes when he's in them. It's just so fucking hardcore American. It's hilarious.
Oh, the other best quote we already touched on. Yeah, they call you the Middle Man. He's like, wait,
what?
What?
You have not heard of the Little Man?
no, what?
I was surprised when I saw that. Well, as you are quite a small man, you are not grotesquely small.
It's just so perfect because he puts like super funny moments in this movie that in a not funny situation. It's just great comic relief.
I love when that horn dog finally gets shot. Frederick Zola. He was shot because she goes like this. Okay, creepy weird guy that wants to bang me. It's fine. You can rape me. Just come in. And he's like, huh? Wait.
Oh, really?
We're in sir. Idiot. And then she's like, oh, fine.